Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. This is the Creative Collaboration Show from Collaborators Unite with Chuck Anderson. And today I have another amazing guest for you, especially if you are someone who relies on any type of visual presentation. So if you do a lot of Zooms or webinars or events or anything visual, you're going to really want to lean into this episode today. In fact, this comes with a warning, and that is if you are listening to this on a podcast, I want you to let you know that today's episode is highly, highly visual. And so by all means, listen to the episode, but go back and check it out on our website and on YouTube, and you'll see the full video presentation there as well. So today I have with me Lion Fludd, who is an expert at creating highly visual and highly engaging visual presentations that is going to help you to get more engagement and keep those eyeballs on the screen and on you and your message. So first of all, Lion, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here.
Hey, thank you for having me here. First off, I appreciate that. And it just means so much to me to be here with you and your audience. So thank you very much.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I know this is going to be time well spent, especially for anyone who does a lot of visual presentations. You and I were chatting just before the episode there about backgrounds. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit, and really love yours. It took me a
Thank you.
long time to build this. This is real. This is IKEA furniture, but virtual backgrounds and all of that. There's so many different things, and of course yours is not virtual, and so we can tell people about that as well. But first of all, welcome, and I think a good place to start is I did the light introduction. Maybe you can go a little further and tell everybody about yourself and why is it that you do what you do, and how did you come to start doing this?
Yeah, thank you for that. And so I guess a good place to start with that is to tell people that what I do in essence is I help people create engaging and professional presentations. And you can think of me almost like an video interior designer, right? Because, when the virtual world came upon us, everyone was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to put my hands at. Where do I look at? So I was like, there's a need for people to learn that. And one day my wife said to me, because I would get tons of questions, she's like, you know what? That's a viable business. People are asking you all the time, how does yours look that way? How did you get it? She's like, turn that into something. I was like, voila, I'm glad I thought of that, honey. And
Of course.
that was the beginning of everything from that point.
Yeah. And we found ourselves in a much more virtual world faster than we ever thought we would. I mean, I think we were
Yeah.
heading towards more and more virtual all the time, but with the lockdowns and everything and everyone staying at home, it really accelerated all of that. And while some in-person stuff has come back, this
Mhm.
whole, we're not going back to the way we were.
Right.
Visual presentations and doing visual presentations, a lot of Zooms, is here to stay, and it's
Yeah.
something I do multiple times a week. So I can see that that's very relevant, and I will say I attend a lot of webinars as well, and they
Yeah.
don't always have their stuff together, right? Like
Oof.
backgrounds are one thing, they are another. I mean, so it sounds like you came up with this for yourself, first of all, and then
Yeah.
a very, very wise recommendation from your wife to go into.
Yeah.
So, what was it about your own presentations that caused you to come up with what you're doing right now?
So I think for me, in the whole construct of it, when I found out like the virtual world was coming, I've always been a fun, just enthusiastic person. Like, even in networking events in person or live, I would love to just do something that would catch whomever I was speaking with attention instead of just maybe the old here's my business card, all kind of things. So for a quick example, a little backstory before this is I'm actually semi-retired, but I'm actually a professional magician. Right. I used to perform in Las Vegas in the casinos and big like that. And one of the things that I would do in live events, networking events, is I would pull my business card out, and I had a magic trick in which the business card would light on fire, literally actual flames, and then I would blow it out and give it to the person. So it was memorable, even if they didn't know what I did. They remembered. And they would go tell someone a story. They met some guy who had a business card on fire. He pulled it out of his jacket pocket, and so I was memorable. So I always wanted to still keep that. Go into the virtual world, there wasn't really a way to do it like that, right? I could do it on screen, but it wasn't. So I still wanted to have fun and be in a virtual events. And so I said, let me find a way that I could bring maybe characters on screen or have something really fun that comes on screen. And I wanted to do that. So I developed this mindset of saying, these meetings are going to be no sleeping zones, right? This meeting is a no boring sleeping zones. Bring something up on screen like that. And that's how it kind of went into that. I personally did not want to be in a meeting in which I would be bored. I understood you still needed to talk and tell your story and present whatever you wanted, but it, they even came up with a word for it. I think they started calling it Zoom fatigue. Yeah, these people got
Mm.
zoomed out. So that's where it started at for me. I still wanted to be memorable even in virtual meetings.
Yeah, and I've been through some Zoom meetings that were it's like, oh man, not enough coffee in the world to keep me awake through this
Mm,
thing. And the thing is, and I have spent some time in video production and also slide production and
yeah.
with when it comes to presentations and uh, if there is not something that moves on the screen, sometimes every few seconds, that
Yeah.
our attention starts to divert elsewhere. I have three screens on my computer. I could easily look over
Mm,
there or down there or over there. But
yeah.
if there's something on your screen that's moving, it's going to help me to keep my attention on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick on that, if it and I've developed one. I don't say I developed, but I teach that in my course, right? So for all of the listeners who are listening to this Chuck right now, make sure you go and watch the video as he stated before, because a demonstration I'm just about to show you is if you notice my screen is in constant motion. I have a background, but it's subtle. It's not overt where it's going to make you distracted, but it's done on purpose because it's just like in the movies, every 7 seconds they're cutting to a new scene or jump cut or something to keep your brain going. So when I'm in a meeting, people will see the motion of my screen, but it's not done in a distracting kind of way. So I agree with you totally.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. The background, it's so subtle, it's not distracting, but just with the movement of the colors, it does focus my attention. And I think what I
Mm,
find myself thinking as well is, is something else going to change on the screen? I better keep
uh,
watching, right? And so,
yeah, that's a good idea. You just gave me idea. I might change the whole background every once in a while. I'm glad I
yeah.
thought of that.
There you go. Well, I mean the movement does really help with that focus as well, and it's like
Yeah,
it gives you a reason to keep looking forward, right? Versus
yeah,
over here, and so I love that. So you created this for yourself, and what
yes.
kind of presentations were you doing at the time? What were you?
Yeah. So when I first started doing this, I was actually doing virtual magic. And
Mm,
because I was still performing at that time when, everyone had to go to the virtual world. And so needed to come up with different ways of presenting the magic on screen so that the people would still feel the connection, because magic is all about connection. You're in person. Now I'm on the screen doing it and you lose that connection. So I needed to develop a way to do that. And I was like, okay, well, let me do some things on screen that will keep the people's attention. And I remember there was a moment when I looked back and it was done. Ooh, I don't want to date myself here, but I think it was like in the early 80s when David Copperfield did something back then on TV, and he had a method where people would be at home and then they would look at the screen and see a certain amount of playing cards, and he would say think of something, and then the cards would disappear, and eventually your card was the last card that was on screen. And I was like, that's it, because at that moment he was doing magic with them in homes for millions of people, but they still felt like the trick was directly for them. And I said, let me incorporate something like that. And that kind of pushed me down that road there.
Oh, that is really cool. Cause yeah, cause that's the thing. I mean, it's so interactive. I don't even think
Mm,
that I've witnessed magic virtually before, and it is something that's very real. So you had to solve a problem
yeah.
in your business.
Yeah.
Like how do I still have this, communicating this visually and still have the same outcome? And
Yeah.
so then you create it. So you had this problem. So what were the next steps? So how did you what did you do then to be able to come up with what you're doing now?
And so in that course there, I think I'm a serial entrepreneur, right? If that term still exists, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I also have my ADHD brain, whereas
Hmm?
I'm on one subject and then I'm on to the next, right? So it just kept progressing. And I was like, okay, well, what can I do with this next? So I started saying, well, maybe I could, because I would get questions from people afterwards and say, oh, my daughter's interested in magic. Where can they learn it? I was like, oh, you could do this book. And I started saying, well, if people keep asking me, where can they learn it? I'm telling them to go somewhere else to learn it. Why don't I tell them to come to me to learn it? Yeah, well, we're not in the same city. I could just maybe develop 30, 40 minutes of a video to teach them basic tricks. And then it was like light bulb, right? Light bulb went off. I was like, yeah, just make a mini course in essence. And then that's where that started. And that's kind of how I started that, teaching other people magic virtually, some live, but then some in the course as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So who do you notice that is coming into your world and taking your program? What are some of the things you're hearing from them in terms of the struggle, or
Yeah.
what they're trying to overcome or what they're trying to achieve?
That's there. That's the question, right? Who is it?
Hmm.
And I think I've narrowed it down to people who want to get on screen, who want to do something virtual first. They just don't know where to start or how to do it. Then, second, I have people who have already started the process. They've done webinars, they've done coaching sessions, but they feel stuck because they don't get the engagement, or people may be leaving from their course or their membership because it's so just cut and dry. And so that those are the two main avatars, as we call it, or people who we focus on. Someone who just says, you know what, I don't know where to start. I want to make content. I want to coach. I want to get my business going. I'm a life coach, but I just don't know how to communicate online. Okay, great. That's what we can help you on that. Or someone who's a coach and said, hey, I do webinars or I do presentations, but people just say it's boring or they don't respond if I ask them questions or something. We can help you with that.
Yeah, I love that. And, that is something that we encounter all the time in our work. I mean, all of our clients run events of some sort, whether it be
Yeah.
webinars or workshops or master classes or summits or challenges or whatever. And it's one thing to get people registered, it's another thing to
Yeah.
get people to show up. And it's even another thing to get them to stay engaged while they're there. and
Yes.
and so that is a huge issue, because if we can't keep them engaged, I always tell the people in my program is like, look, you can give great content, but tomorrow they're going to forget most of that content, but they're going to
Yeah.
remember you, and they're going to remember how you made them feel. And so how
Exactly.
memorable can you be? Is
Yeah.
that kind of what you're going for with your
Yeah,
clients as well?
absolutely. Because um, when I kind of started going into this road, I was like, okay, well, how do I find my clients? Where do I find them? And I always remembered just go to the places where they're at, right? And most of my clients or people who I'm, working with, they're in other networking meetings, other virtual meetings. And so I would simply go there and I would kind of sit back in the corner because I didn't want to be just upfront with everything and wait till my introduction came. But I noticed every meeting I would go in, I would always get someone to ask me, "Hey, I saw your screen. How did you do that?" In essence, I was marketing, and that's how I started to get them. Because if you are saying that's a really nice screen or background or something, then that means that whomever you're marketing to is going to say it to you. So even if they didn't remember my name, they remembered there was someone in that meeting who had a different standout virtual background or virtual presence, as in essence, than other 60 people, other 100 people in that meeting. So yes, I want them to stand apart from their competitors.
Hmm. Well, and that
Yeah.
reminds me of how you and I met because we were at a networking meeting. We ended up in a breakout room together. And, most people who are at these meetings, they've got whatever background they have. Sometimes it's their laundry or, some other, their bed.
Yeah.
And, this symmetrical thing took a while to do. This is all real furniture, not a virtual background. But I
Yeah.
remember when we met, like instantly before you even spoke, I'm like, oh, this guy's different, right? This guy's got something different going on because you don't see this every day. You don't, it
Yeah.
stands apart from everyone else who's there.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing that you want to make happen, especially if you're going to try to be presenting to let's not even just say clients. Let's just say you're doing a webinar, right? One of the things that I would show people is maybe at the beginning of the meeting, you want to do something where you tell someone to turn on their cameras, right? That's one of the things that's big, right? Where I have a setup, for example, I have this come on my screen and it just it the lighting, the where it just flashed for a second. Hey, your camera's off. Make sure you turn it on. It pops to their eye, and that's a Zoom thing that everyone's familiar with. And then when they see that, they go, "Oh, I better turn my camera on." Right.
Mhm.
So it's just something. So I don't have to say it. I can have it set up automatically. So it comes on every 10 seconds, for an example, until I get ready to come on camera. And then when I come on, I go, I know y'all saw that little thing flashing that said, turn your cameras on. Now I'm going to call you out. Jeff, I see your cameras off. But it's now fun. And
Mhm.
it gives me kind of credence to kind of jump on them without automatically coming on camera and sounding grouchy. Y'all better turn y'all cameras on.
Exactly. Well, and we see that in meetings all the time. And some
Yeah.
people are a little grumpy about it. You got to be fun, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I was on a meeting not too long ago. It's like, look, if you don't turn your camera on, we're going to ask you to leave this meeting. And,
Yeah.
that's one way to handle it. I like your way of handling it. It's way more fun.
Yeah, yeah, and they receive it better because they know they're supposed to have it on, but they also see that he or she, okay, I like their personality because they seem fun, right? So yeah,
Well, after all, I mean, these Zoom meetings are all about engagement. And, I just did
mm-hmm.
a webinar earlier today that had 50 people on it. And it is how do you engage with 50 people virtually?
Mm-hmm.
With smaller groups, we can bring them up on and have them share, we can have them talk. But when you get into larger rooms, there isn't
Yeah,
time in the agenda for that. It would take the full 90 minutes just to have everyone
yes,
talk, and and
yeah,
and some don't know when to stop
ooh,
talking as well.
yeah,
And so then having other creative ways to engage with them when you can't bring
mhm.
them onto the mic and have everyone talking.
Yeah, absolutely, and see. This is why I love doing these kind of things, right? Because you just said something that sparked another kind of my ADHD brain to go, right? So
Mhm.
you just said they take forever and they may take a little bit more time, right? So I have a thing where I teach my students and so forth, whereas someone will come up on a screen or something, and I will tell them right up front, all right, hey, so this is your time. So now I put the time. So the podcast listeners, make sure you go and see this because right now there's a countdown timer that came on the screen, but also along with a circular kind of rapid fire kind of question. So they know this is the amount of time you've got to speak. And I'll be like, oh, your time's going out. You better hurry up. And then at the end, it flashes red. So they know that, oh, danger zone. And I'm just like, hurry up. So again, it's fun, but I don't have to directly, overly force them um, to say, okay, your time's coming up. Cause I'll see people hold up their cell phone.
Hmm.
Yeah, that works. But if it's on screen, everyone gets to see it and you made it more fun. So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and there's probably a long list of these kinds of challenges that happen in Zoom meetings that we could
Mm,
list off. Um, One of the questions I know people will have, because I've heard it before from them, is like, obviously the visual representation that you have on your screen is really, really good. How much time did you put into that? Like, how hard is it for someone to learn how to do this? Is it something that they're going to really have to increase their tech skills to a level that they're not accustomed to, or is this
mm.
achievable for them reasonably well?
Let me tell you, Chuck, I was salivating for that question. It
I
was like
bet
I
you
was
were.
Pavlov's dog. I was waiting for it. 'Cause I was like, yes, come on, come on, come on. No, I love that because the system and the way that I teach it, it's I call it my easy ABC 1, 2, 3. I've got several testimonials, and actually, we've got a one recently from a gentleman who's 75 years old, and he even came into our group and he said, I've done several of these that I wanted to do live and I couldn't understand it, but the system I use, which is called Ecamm, by the way, I am an affiliate of it. So if anyone is interested in learning it, I do get something from Ecamm. So come to me for it and I will give you some good tips on it. But it's so easy that he at 75 years old was like, wow. And he wrote this out for us. And he's like, I can do this because if it's not easy, you don't want to do it. If it's too complicated or cumbersome, you're going to be pressing wrong buttons or doing something while you're trying to focus on your presentation, which could distract you from doing some other things. So the answer is it's absolutely simple and easy. Matter of fact, a new thing that we just started doing for people is remote production. So I had a lady who said, I just want to talk. I don't want to do any slides. I don't want to do anything. I said, I got you. All you got to do is come on screen, speak your presentation. I'll do the slides. I'll do all of the fancy stuff. And that was it. She was like, thank you. So it easy peasy.
So now you're a producer as well. Do you actually do that for clients? Where you'll go and you'll produce on the back end while they're doing their speaking?
Yeah, we just that. So I've done about 10 of those now. So it's something that I kept thinking about and I never did. And then people just kept asking me. I said, why don't I just get into it? Because I didn't want to put more on my plate. But I was like, okay, so I can kind of just ease into that. So yes, I do that now as well because some people don't want to. They don't want to do all of the ins and out of things that's needed. They just want to talk and they just want to present. I was like, okay, cool, let's help them out as well.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's one of the things that people fear is, am I going to have to, how hard is this going to have be to learn, and can I really do
Yeah.
this? And so it sounds like you have a way of showing them to do it that's really, really simple. And if they
Mhm.
really don't want to do it, you're available to, there's a way that they can have you help them with it on the back end.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell people for me, I'm absolutely simply amazing at what I do. And I don't say that, to bolster. Oh, there it is right there.
There we
See?
go.
So, but it is true because I look at it as myself. My name is my brand.
Hmm.
It's who I am. I need that brand to be at the top of the line, top notch. And if I am not, people are going to go tell four other people it wasn't what it was supposed to be, right? So I want to ensure that your name is your brand and you look good. You look good, I look good. The whole story goes together.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, at the top of the episode, I mentioned that the theme of our show is collaboration and creative collaboration, and one of the reasons
Yeah.
why I invited you to the show is I see you as someone who would be really great to collaborate with, especially for anyone who does a lot of Zooms, a lot of visual presentations and things like that. And so two parts to this question, right? One
Okay.
is, why would somebody collaborate with you versus trying to do this on your own? I think it's probably a
Sure.
very obvious answer, but I'll let you answer it. And then
Sure.
also, how have collaborations played a role in your business, and what do you look for people that you collaborate with or partner with?
Yeah, absolutely. So, very first question, like you said, is a simple one. You should collaborate with me, one, because as you're collaborating, you're going to learn as well. So then you're starting to understand the system because when we can figure out each other's weaknesses and strengths, then we can amplify those, right? So, for an example, I do, and going into the second question a little bit as well, is I collaborate with a lot of um, web designers, or graphic designers, because a lot of the things that people see come up on my screen, that's not my strength. I don't know how to directly create a logo for your brand, but I have associates who do. Then I can send them to you. Hey, Chuck, you know what? I've got an associate who does that, graphic designer. Go and speak with him or her. They can help you and create that, and vice versa. So then now they're telling someone who does graphic designs, they looking for that. You say, okay, now I want to do a video. Hey, go see Lion. He does videos. So collaboration helps so many ways. Do not look at it as I want to keep all of the funds or the everything to myself. No, because your name gets put out there more. People see it more. Someone may see a graphic design on my show and they say, "Oh, I loved how those things just came up." For an example, when you see this right here come up on the screen, I didn't create that. I just put it on the screen, but I can tell you who did it for me, and it works so well. So I would highly suggest anyone to learn to collaborate. And especially if you collaborate with me, we're going to work together and we're going to help each other grow. Because when we grow, the more we know, all that good stuff, just like that.
Yeah, amazing. And we definitely look forward to doing more with you as well, because again, like 100% of our clients do presentations and they do
Mm.
Zooms, they do webinars, they do events, all of that. And having a highly engaged audience is super, super important with that.
Yes.
So, look, we've covered a lot of ground today, and I love the demonstration. Look, anyone listening in right now who is listening in on a podcast, you just have to go to the website or go to my YouTube channel. Yeah, the link is right there in the show notes. You got to go back and you got to watch the video of this, because I don't even know how to describe like some of the visual things that have popped up. There we go. Another one that has popped up on the screen, literally. And so you just got to go and check this out. And it's what I will also say, Lion, is what it causes an emotion. Like there's an instant
Yeah.
smile. There's an instant feeling that comes just from showing something simple like that on the screen. But
Yes.
how effective is that? There we go.
See, there
It's
you go.
memorable, right? It's memorable, and
Yeah.
it keeps people engaged. And it's something that I endeavor to do more in my presentations. And
Sure.
so, as a non-Mac user, as a Windows user, I have to find other solutions, because Ecamm is not available to me. But there's a way to do it. There is a way to do it.
Yeah, and I was going to tell you really quick what that is. That's another something I put on my plate. So yes, there is a system, and I have no worries. And here goes that collaboration thing, right? I've learned from my coach, because I hired a coach who taught me, hey, give away more than you take. There is a system that does probably 90% of what you see on my screen for anyone who, and it does work for PC. It's called OBS, Oscar Bravo Sierra. It's free, right? The only differences, or the major differences, is a higher learning curve.
Mhm.
Whereas Ecamm, for an example, it has cut down my workload. For example, whereas it took me 6 hours to edit something, now it may take me an hour and a half, for an example. Where OBS is still going to take you 6 to 8 hours to do it. Not literally, but just showing a big difference so you can still do it, Chuck. You can get it done.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to getting that done. Now, along those lines, I mean, one of the next questions people have is like, okay, what do I need? What are
Mhm.
my next steps? And I know you have a free gift that will help people along those lines. You want to tell everyone
Yes.
a bit more about that, and we'll make sure that the links to that are beneath the video and in the podcast show notes.
Yeah, absolutely. My free gift is a list of recommended items for you to start with, right? Microphones, headphones, and it ranged from a variable like financial status of maybe $20 up to the highest $300-400, for example, right? Because I don't suggest you directly start off with some of the most expensive things if you're not, really into it, right? But grab that free gift because it's going to give you an idea and at least take you down a rabbit hole. Maybe you see one microphone that's recommended and then you start looking and searching for other microphones, right? So I highly recommend, if nothing else, get that free gift for the recommendations, start on your path because you might say to yourself, I need a new microphone. I just don't know which one to get because there's so many out there. You got to find the right one that works for you.
Hmm. Well, if you want to get access to that equipment list, check out the link just beneath this video. And if you're on podcast still and you haven't gone and checked out the video, the links to all of that is right there in the show notes. Go check that out. And of course, we have your all your links and everything are all there as well, Leon. So
Perfect.
look, before we bring this episode to a close, I just got to ask you. This is a question that I ask all of my guests. I was surprised at the answer because I thought that we would hear the same answer over and over and over again, and it turned out it's different for everybody. And that is,
Yeah.
and so much about growing our business is about learning, and I learn a lot from books. I've got just a few of them back here. Uh, if you were to recommend just one must-read book that has been either really inspirational for you or helpful for you, and you
Mm.
say, you know what, you got to go and read this book next, is there one that you would recommend?
I would. And it's so crazy because it has nothing to do directly with business. Although it to me helped out my business tremendously. And it was the 5 love languages.
Mm,
And the reason why I say that is because, especially during the time frame of when everything went virtual, when the world was going crazy and upside down, we were stuck in the homes together with our spouses and partners or whomever. We were starting to drive each other crazy, and my wife and I delved into that book. And at that moment, is I saw everything flip for us because we became so much more supportive in each other's endeavors. Hey, go for it. I remember there was times where I would put out a webinar or try something, and 2 people would show up. you know, and then I was like, "No, this isn't working." And my wife would do techniques in that book, and I didn't even know it. I read the chapter, and then later she's like, you notice I did this. That was in chapter whatever. I'm like, ooh, you sneaky. so, but she pushed me, and then it made me say, oh, you know what? Yes, I'm not going to quit. I'm just going to, relook at it and relaunch it and do some things. So I would say the 5 love languages because it brought she and I closer, and it helped each of our endeavors and businesses that we were, working towards, and it exploded everything for us. So yeah, 5 love languages is what I would recommend.
that is a great book. And by the way, that's for anyone listening in who hasn't heard of it, that's Gary Chapman that
Yeah.
wrote that book. And I will say that it does relate to business in the fact that all of our clients have love languages as well. and
Ooh,
and
yeah.
so yeah, not just our partner, but each one of them will value one of those love languages more than the others. And when you can discover what that
Yeah.
is and deliver your service or deliver your content in a way that resonates with that, you're going to have a much higher acceptance rate. And sometimes
Wow.
it's going to be different for everyone, especially when I'm
Yeah.
working with people one on one. It's like, what does this person value the most? Sometimes it's that extra little gift. Sometimes it's an extra service. Sometimes it's just some acknowledgement, right?
Yeah.
And so there's different ways that we can communicate with people based upon what we know they value and what their love language is. And so you
Love
can
that.
take that to a whole
Love that.
nother level. So I think
Yes,
it's a
man,
great
look at
business
this.
recommendation. And
Yeah.
so we'll definitely add that to our learning library. We'll put links to it here beneath this video and in the show notes. So uh, Lion, great episode. I really look forward to publishing this one and seeing what else you and I can come up with. It's great to get to know you a little bit more here through this process.
Yeah.
Um, and so to bring this episode to a close, if you were to just give our listeners one final piece of advice or words of wisdom, what would you leave
Hmm.
them here with today?
There we go. That's the rub. I would say you must get those gremlins off your shoulders. If you are sitting there, you're thinking, I want to do this, but I'm afraid someone's going to reject me. Someone's going to say no. The world, hey, it always happens, but you got to start. And as I tell my students, start ugly. I don't care about perfection. I care that you start. Hit record, practice, do whatever you got to do, but stop being afraid and go after it. Every year we say the same thing. Oh, I'm gonna do this and resolutions, and then, but do not try to eat that steak at once. Right? Cut it up, small pieces. You will eventually eat the entire steak. Just don't try to swallow it all at once. And that's my advice: is to just get started. Just do it. Contact me. Contact anyone who you say, but contact me first though. Um, and just start. That's my advice. Get that gremlin off your shoulder and start.
Just start. And then once you
Yeah.
start, keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And my audience knows I always end with that. And so this has been a great episode. I think this is a game changer in terms of anyone who does presentations, which is pretty much all of us now in
Mm,
this virtual world. I am on Zoom multiple times a day, and it can help in so many different ways. So thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you to my audience for being here. I hope you've learned something today. And of course, this only matters if you put it into practice. So I want you to take something that you learned here today and take that action. Maybe it's something to do with your presentations. Maybe it's to go and download the equipment list or reach out to Lion and see how he can help. But take one action today that can help you make a big difference in your business tomorrow.
yeah.
And never ever give up on your big dream. The only way to fail is to quit. So always keep moving forward. Until next time, this has been Chuck Anderson. My guest has been Lion Fludd, and see you on the next one, everyone.